Zuffenhausen is the heart of Porsche, then its soul lies here, at the 24-hour circuit at Le Mans. Porsche remained the most successful manufacturer to win the legendary 24-hour race, not just dominating the 80s and late 90s, but on their return in 2014 when they've won 3 out of the last 6 races. The circuit also houses the 24-hour of Le Mans Museum, which holds a collection of over 140 cars from all across the epic history of the race. Unfortunately, we can't do a lap of the circuit. Or can we?
The great thing about a road circuit is that it's just that, a road circuit, which means it's open to the public 24 hours, 7 days a week. Of the 13.6 kilometers of the Le Mans circuit, more than 10 are public roads, which means anytime, day or night, you can drive Le Mans. Currently on the D338. It starts back at Petrol Rouge and it's pretty much the entire Mulsanne structure. But it's not until we get to the golf course that it starts to get interesting. From the golf course, we turn onto the D140, which is the most uninterrupted part of the circuit. A 2.5k blast up to the Indianapolis and Arnage bends. Of course, it can all go horribly wrong when you're stuck behind a lorry. After we've done the bends, it's a quick right-hander onto the D139, where we leave the circuit just before, well, you guessed it, the Porsche bends.
Lap of the Le Mans circuit complete and another toll ticket in hand, it was time to head for the motorway.
The second leg of our trip takes us from Le Mans, through Tours, and continues 275 miles before ending in the capital of the Gironde, Bordeaux.
One of the cool but slightly nerdy things about this generation of Porsches is the automatic rear spoiler. It's smaller on the Boxster and the Cayman, as you'd expect, compared to a 911, but whichever model it's on, it does have a couple of annoying quirks. The first is that while you're driving, as we are here, you can't actually see whether it's up or down in the rearview mirror. So it sort of defeats the purpose for the driver. It also means that, to a degree, it seems like it's just for show. The other point is that it only activates at 75 miles an hour, or roughly 120 kilometers if you're here in France. Which means that on most roads in the UK, for argument's sake, it never gets used because we always just stick to the speed limit. However, if on longer journeys your foot happens to accidentally slip and you do find yourself glancing over the speed limit, then it becomes pretty much a sign on the back of the car, because it doesn't come back down until you've come back to 50 miles an hour. And that could be a long way on a motorway. Thankfully though, the boys in blue don't know this secret fact about Porsches.
Until you just told everyone.
Ah. With the car parked safe and sound in the bowels of the earth, it was time to check into our hotel and relax for the evening.
Sprawling along the banks of the mighty Gironde River, Bordeaux is one of France's most famous wine-growing regions, and Bordeaux itself is second only to Paris in terms of its best-known cities. During the 18th and 19th century, La Porte de la Lune, as it was known then, supplied most of Europe with goods such as coffee, sugar, cocoa, and even indigo. And so it was one of the busiest ports in France, and probably second only to London in terms of busiest ports in the world. with its 18th century architecture and iconic town square, not to mention its monstrous reflective pool. Bordeaux is the world's largest urban World Heritage Site. In fact, it covers 18 square kilometres, and that's almost half the city. Bordeaux is a city that does have a lot to offer. There are plenty of churches, museums and parks, among other things to keep you occupied. There's even a city wine museum. So if wine's your thing, why not go and take a look and indulge your inner connoisseur?